attending this evening. I don't know if both mics are on. Everyone hear me? Jack and I also wanted to give a special thanks for all the Zeitgeist members who have helped bring us here and helped make this lecture such a success, and who have been talking about the Venus Project for quite some time now. And also I wanted to mention that all the designs that you saw in that video were done by Jacques Fresco. Unlike the film you just saw, we live in a world where our social systems are old, our language is old, the way we acquire goods and services is outdated, and our cities are detrimental to our health, chaotic, and a tremendous waste of energy and resources. And our politicians do not provide a way out of these problems. But our technology is racing forward. We're trying to adjust to the rapid advances in technology with obsolete values that no longer work in our technological age. What is needed is a change in our sense of direction and purpose, an alternative vision for a sustainable new world civilization unlike anything that's gone in the past. This is what we are presenting here, and we call it the Venus Project. And its activist arm, organized by Peter Joseph, is called the Zeitgeist Movement. When I refer to sustainability, I mean the well-being of all people in a new system that would help bring them to their highest potential while protecting and preserving the environment. What I am referring to is the intelligent management of the Earth's resources by using the methods of science to organize and manage society. I'm not referring to scientists running things, but the methods of science applied to the way we live to achieve a more humane society for everyone. Almost everyone will prefer using scientific means when it comes to surgery, to the building of aircraft, to skyscrapers, bridges, and to automobiles. Over the centuries, we've developed a consensus that when it comes to matters of personal safety, we choose science and technology because it's been proven to work. Then why don't we use scientific methods and scales of performance when it comes to planning our societies, transportation systems, agriculture, healthcare, and so on? If science has a lot to do with what works, then clearly there's much about today's social and economic system that is not scientific, because things aren't working very well for the majority of the world's people and the environment. If they were, war, poverty, hunger, homelessness, and pollution would have been solved long ago. Unfortunately, our social structures evolved with no overall global planning or an understanding of what shapes our behavior, and these things are not being considered today. The Venus Project wants to apply an intelligent method of planning for planetary survival. If we don't apply the scientific method to the way we live, unnecessary human suffering will continue. We have the technological ability and the resources to feed, house, and shelter everyone on the planet. But our practice of rationing resources through monetary methods never provided the means to do so. Then how do we even begin to solve the problems using the methods of the monetary system that we all live under? The use of money is hardly ever examined, but let's consider it, along with how much it influences our behavior and our values. Money is just an interference factor between what we need and what we're able to get. The use of money results in social stratification and elitism. They say in America that all people are equal, but most people don't buy the kind of car they want or live in the home they want. They buy what they can afford. Many cultures tell their people that they are free. But one is really as free as their purchasing power. How can someone have freedom when they can't get the best medical care or schooling for their children? Most people are slaves to jobs that they really don't like, only because they need the money. Many laws acted for the benefit of corporations that have the money to lobby, bribe, or persuade government officials to make laws that serve their own interests. People say that the monetary system produces incentive. This may be true to a limited extent, but it also produces greed, corruption, crime, war, poverty, and tremendous unnecessary human suffering. You have to look at the entire picture. The monetary system is based on artificial scarcity. For example, food products are sometimes destroyed just to keep the prices up. There's a tremendous waste of energy and resources as a result of frequent superficial design changes in order to create continuous markets. This is very evident in the fashion industry. Our social system is based on the need to continuously buy. You and I, in this system, are merely consumers. There's a tremendous environmental degradation due to the high cost of more appropriate waste disposal. The earth is being plundered for profit. The recent oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico is a good example of this. But one of the greatest wastes of resources and lives is the use of military force. How shameful that it is one of the most profitable industries in the world. It's little understood just how much our values are shaped by our monetary society. Our values are influenced by the media for the benefit of the establishment. For the most part, they determine the public agenda to serve their own interests. They perpetuate the illusion that society's values are determined by the ground up. They do this with empty words such as freedom, patriotism, and democracy. What we have all over the world is managed news by and for the establishment. They influence the books, the newspapers, TV, movies, education, and entertainment, which in turn shapes our values and behaviors. Most important, when the corporation's bottom line is profit, the decisions are made not to the benefit of people or the environment, but for the acquisition of wealth, property, and power. For instance, if your country really cared about you, they wouldn't outsource jobs for lower wages elsewhere. Unfortunately, they are forced to do this to maintain the competitive edge. What if all the money in the world suddenly disappeared? As long as we have arable land, factories, technical personnel, and other resources, we could build anything we wanted to build, or fulfill most of our needs. The Venus Project advocates that with today's ingenuity, we could easily overcome scarcity, which is the cause of most of our problems, such as war, corruption, aberrant behavior. We could accomplish this by implementing a resource-based economy. This is a very different concept than anything that's gone before. It's nothing in common with socialism, communism, capitalism, or fascism. To put it simply, a resource-based economy uses resources rather than money, and all people have free access to their needs without the use of money, credit, barter, taxation, or servitude of any kind. All the earth's resources are held as the common heritage of all the earth's people. The real wealth of any nation is not its money, but its resources and the people who are working toward the elimination of scarcity for a more humane society to everyone. If this is still confusing to you, consider this. If you and other people were stranded on an island with great financial wealth, but the island had no arable land, no fish, no clean water, your wealth would be irrelevant to your survival. It is not money that people need, but rather the access to the necessities of life. In a resource-based economy, science and technology and resources are used directly to enhance the lives of all people. If we manage our resources wisely, we could easily produce the necessities of life and provide a very high standard of living for everyone. This may be hard to understand, but even the wealthiest of today would have a much higher standard of living within a resource-based economy. In a resource-based economy, all people would be educated to be problem solvers, instead of the parasitic professions used within the monetary system that don't contribute anything to the well-being of people. I'll let you determine what that might be. When all the Earth's resources are shared, there will be no need for the military. This savage profession could easily be surpassed in a resource-based economy. These people are trained merely to be killing machines. How wonderful it would be if they were trained to be problem solvers instead, and taught how to bridge the difference between nations without violence. When all of the Earth's resources are managed as the common heritage of all the world's people, the artificial barriers that separate nations would no longer be necessary. Invasion of countries purely for resource theft would be a thing of the past. In a resource-based economy, instead of fighting one another over scarce resources, people will be working toward solving problems that are common to everybody, such as the threat of heart disease, or cancer, or tsunamis, or earthquakes, and so on. Remember that almost every new concept was ridiculed, rejected, and laughed at when it was first presented, especially by the experts of the times. All new ideas for social betterment, including women's rights, black rights, and child labor, always were met with great resistance. During the time of the Wright brothers, the distinguished scientists of the day were writing books explaining why man can't fly. The Wright brothers didn't read their books and went right ahead and built the flying machine. When science is applied to human and environmental concern, we can easily create abundance for all. We will eventually understand that most crimes that fill our jails are a result of the need to acquire money and property in an age of often contrived scarcity of the monetary system. Children will look back and wonder why we couldn't see the limitations of this system. Being civilized is an ongoing process. There are no utopias and no final frontiers. All things change and are in a continuous process of social evolution. Those countries that try to freeze things and keep things as they are will be surpassed. Thank you.